Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Whether it's your first time attending the Rosicrucian Symposium or you're a regular, we are grateful for your presence. I would like now to invite everyone to sit comfortably and relax. We will begin with a brief meditation to bring us into presence and to set an intention for our time together. Please find a comfortable position, seated with your back straight. Rest your hands on your laps on claps and gently close your eyes. Take 3 slow, full breaths. And gently bring your awareness to your body. Notice the point of contact with your chair or wherever you're sitting. Notice the weight of your feet. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Now broaden your attention inward to this field of awareness itself. The observer, the knower. Notice thoughts, feelings, and sensations as passing events appearing in this awareness. You do not need to push away or hold on to anything, any thoughts. Simply allow the thoughts and experiences to come and go while remaining in this field of awareness. Now, set an intention for our time together. You might choose a single word or a short phrase, for example, curiosity, clarity, compassion, openness, deep listening. Silently offer this intention now. When you feel ready, you may open your eyes, carrying this presence and intention with you as we begin. The title of my presentation is Not the Nature of Consciousness, Scientific and Spiritual Explorations. The objective of this presentation is to examine scientific findings alongside our Rosicrucian spiritual teachings on the nature of consciousness. We will be integrating scientific and esoteric perspective on the nature of consciousness. We'll address these questions. Why do we have consciousness? What is the essential nature of consciousness? Does the environment have any impact on consciousness? Which practices reliably expand consciousness? How can consciousness be studied? The Oxford Dictionary defines consciousness as the state of being aware of internal and external experiences. The Rosicrucian Manual describes it as a mental aspect of life, encompassing sensation, realization, reasoning, imagination, aspiration, and inspiration. For centuries, philosophers, scientists, and spiritual seekers have been fascinated by consciousness, and debate has persisted over whether it can be studied using scientific methods. The nature of human consciousness is complex. Although modern science has advanced our understanding of the brain's function and mechanism, the nature of consciousness still remains a profound mystery. As science depends on observation, on objective observation and measurement, whereas consciousness goes beyond what we can observe and measure. Despite these limitations, science has made substantial progress in mapping correlations between brain activity and consciousness. Modern methods such as functional MRI, electroencephalography, EEG, and other electrophysiology techniques, and increasing sophisticated computational models allows researchers to prove the biological basis of conscious experience and begin to link specific neural patterns with different conscious states. Let's review some key scientific findings about consciousness. Neural correlates of consciousness. The neural correlates of consciousness refers to specific brain structures and networks that give rise to conscious states. Current scientific evidence points to distributed interacting regions within the brain that generates conscious awareness rather than a single brain region. The cortical regions of the brain have been associated with conscious experience. Research shows that the prefrontal cortex, the parietal cortex, and the posterior hot zone comprising of the parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes are critical in generating conscious perception. Also, the thalamocortical lobes, most specifically the thalamus, have also been associated with conscious awareness. Gamma oscillations have also been associated with conscious awareness. Studies suggest that synchronized gamma band activities between 30 to 100 Hz is associated with conscious awareness. These findings indicate that consciousness does not depend on a single brain region, but emerges from dynamic interaction across neural networks. Our spiritual studies describes the human consciousness. I'll repeat that. Our spiritual studies describes that the human consciousness has multiple phases: the conscious objective mind, the subconscious, and the cosmic higher consciousness. The subconscious occupies an intermediate position and can draw on both material awareness and cosmic awareness. Psychic impressions that arise from the subconscious may therefore reflect the voice of the higher self and elevated states of consciousness, or they may be expressions of ordinary material desires. So useful practice is to pause and examine our desires before acting on them, so we can discern whether their source is the physical self or the spiritual self. According to our Rosicrucian teachings, the human consciousness is one in essence, and all humans have a constant influx of cosmic consciousness, which subdivides and gives rise to different phases of human consciousness. Why do we have consciousness? The purpose of consciousness is for the realization of self. Consciousness is fundamental for human existence. It is because we are conscious we're able to have full awareness and ability to make decisions. We can recall our past and consider our future. It is because of consciousness that we can think and exercise our free will. We constantly use these faculties to direct our existence in conformity with our desires and will. Without human consciousness, we will be dependent on our instincts and we will be living to satisfy our physical needs and impulses. It is because of consciousness we distinguish between ourselves and other people. And we're able to remove ourselves from endangering surroundings and reflect on our condition. And most importantly, It is because of consciousness that we can realize self and evolve. Does the environment have any impact on consciousness? To answer this, let's refer to this extract from our Rosicrucian teachings. Matter reacts on consciousness. Consciousness acts on matter. It is coming into contact with matter or the physical world that we evolve. Matter reacts on consciousness, and consciousness acts on matter. Our objective consciousness and five senses allows us to perceive the physical world, and it is from such perception that we determine what we must do in our daily lives. Our environment, particularly our perception of our environment, plays a key role in our spiritual evolution. What practices reliably expand our consciousness? The daily practice of meditation allows us to attune ourselves to the highest levels of consciousness within ourselves. We can use the few minutes at the end of our meditation to be open and receptive for specific psychic guidance. And this we can do for any challenge we may be experiencing. Another practice that reliably expands our consciousness is commitment to service. Commitment is an expression of our connectedness with that which we commit to. Connectedness is of the soul, and commitment to service, most particularly to being a channel of which the cosmic and work, I'll repeat that. Commitment is an expression of our connectedness with that which we are committed to. Connectedness is of the soul, and commitment to service, most particularly to being a channel by which the cosmic can work through us to help others, would naturally produce expanded states of consciousness. As we make a commitment with our conscious personality to selflessly serve others, our psychic talents emerge to a greater degree. The third practice to reliably expand consciousness is developing intuition. We develop our intuition by keeping our mental faculties and body in condition that allows for the expression of spiritual truths based on spiritual laws. In other words, harboring thoughts and doing actions that allow for the expression of our soul's virtues will naturally develop our intuitive abilities. Character building is another practice that reliably expands our consciousness. To develop our character is to act with good motives and purposes. A good practice is to reflect on our intentions and reasons for wanting to do an action before doing them. By consistently living our lives with a commitment to do good and serve others, we can reliably expect divine guidance. How can consciousness be studied? To study consciousness is to study the natural laws that govern nature and our experiences. Only then would we start to understand the nature of consciousness, ourselves, and the universe. To conclude, I will summarize the key points. We'll conclude by summarizing some key points of this presentation, and the first is the nature of human consciousness is complex. Human consciousness has multiple phases. Despite advances in modern science, the nature of consciousness still remains a mystery. Current scientific studies indicate that consciousness does not depend on a single brain region, but emerges from dynamic interactions across neural networks. Our spiritual studies describe consciousness as having multiple phases. the objective consciousness, the subconscious, and the cosmic consciousness. The primary purpose of consciousness is self-realization. Some practices that reliably expand consciousness include daily meditation and contemplative silence, committed selfless service, which cultivates connectedness and channels for higher influence, developing intuition by keeping ourselves, our thoughts, emotions, actions in conditions that allow for the expression of spiritual truths based on spiritual laws. Character building by examining our intentions and reasons for our actions before acting on them. And finally, to study consciousness is to study the natural laws that govern nature and our experiences. Consciousness gives life meaning and is fundamental to our existence and all of nature. Let us now proceed to a period of brief meditation. Sit relaxed and close your eyes. Take a few neutral breaths. Silently repeat after me. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in purity and perfect dignity. So mote it be. Imagine that you are ascending above your location. Above your house, above your city, above your country. You are going away from Earth, farther and farther, until you can only see it as a bluish sphere rotating slowly in space. Continue to ascend into your celestial sanctum as you choose or visualize it, as you choose to visualize it. For non-members, the celestial sanctum is a sacred and inspiring place of your choice where we commune with our inner self. Visualize a person you love standing in front of you. Feel the love from you radiating to this person. Now visualize it and send these loving vibrations to Earth. While the planet beats in this loving vibration, feel how much the collective consciousness of humanity is being regenerated upon all levels and is benefiting from the positive forces. Now put yourself in a state of receptivity, so as to commune with the divine and receive the spiritual influx that the cosmic grants you at this specific moment. Remain receptive. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. This brings us to the end of my presentation. Peace profound.